Hello everyone. This is Prerna from Al Circle. As we have gathered in this webinar, this is all about understanding risk management and hedging with Jorge. So, a little bit introduction about our host or our contributor. Jorge's career spanned for over 4 decades, showcases his expertise as one of the world's foremost consultants in risk management, specializing in base metals and the LME, London Metal Exchange. From his early days in Buenos Aires, where he earned his CPA, to working with leading firms such as Alumino, Argentino, and Glencore, Jorge's contributions in hedging strategies and risk management has been instrumental in shaping industries across 15 countries on 3 continents. His role as a trainer at LME paved the way for a significant educational impact, where he trained countless professions in metal trading. His influence extended to prestigious institutions, and his connection with Al Circle, an aluminium media company, is that he has been a constant content contributor to our company. We have released a series of hedging blogs written and recorded by Hore, both in video and blog formats on our platform. So now I will share a bit about this course. This course is designed for young traders, students, and beginners who are eager to gain practical, real world trading knowledge. This course spans for 4 weeks, in which you will get a transformation from a young trader into a pro trader, guided by an expert's insights and hands-on strategies. So I would like to ask Jorge if you would add something after this about this course.
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. And my greatest honor to be here contributing for Our Circle, who opened the doors to me last year around October. That was a fantastic opportunity to show myself in a different continent, but and to tell you a little bit of a secret, I have already been participating in India, but not as a consultant, but as a movie maker. But perhaps if you Google me, you're going to find me also as a writer, as a TV, movies, and cinema producer, and a cinema director, and as a yoga teacher, and perhaps as a lifeguard. This is all me. But today, and this program is going to be focused on what I've been carrying all my life, which is consulting and teaching. Just to give you an idea, and let me just complete a little bit about this story about filmmaking. I spent in the middle of my life, I'm 67 years old. So imagine I had the opportunity to do many things. Within that period of time in my life, before coming into independent consultant, after I finished in Aluar, where I was leading the metals book, I spent 2 years of my life directing a film. And I was in New Delhi International Film Festival with my film. And it was the only, as you may perceive from my accent, I'm not from the US, I'm not from UK, I'm from Argentina, which is a country I know India knows very well and appreciates very well, particularly soccer, football. And during those times, I had 2 years which were fantastic to me. I realized the dream and came back completely now into teaching and consulting arena. And as a matter of fact, many of you know me out of my program, Hedging with Jorge. This is me, perhaps dressed differently without a tie. Now, today is more formal. And Prerana, basically, this is what I may add to your introduction, which was superb.
On the behalf of Al Circle team, before we start, I want to thank you for you being. I really appreciate your participation for our content contribution. Like when I have, redesigned your blogs for releasing on our platform, I did notice that you were traveling to many places, and in the middle of that, you were very much constant on giving us the content without making any delay, or we did not ever had to make it a pause for even a week. So that's really appreciating. And before I continue with the webinar, I would like all the participants to please switch on your video so that it becomes very interactive for the trainer as well to
Mhm.
interact. So a few tips and bits before I started is that this whole webinar is divided into 30 minutes what the speaker wants to say, and 30 minutes of what an audience is having any questions after listening to the speaker. And in the first 30 minutes, Jorge will not be only saying about hedging and risk management. There will be a series of questions. I will be asking the questions and he will be answering, which almost covers up what is this course is about,
Okay,
and
good idea.
how people will be benefited from that course. So that is how we proceed. And after we are done with the introduction and the preview of this webinar, we can let the audience or the participants ask their questions.
Perfect.
So yeah, so this is how we proceed. So shall I start with the first question?
Please.
Okay, so once I start, I would like to again repeat the name of our course, that is Aluminium and Other Base Metals, Understanding Risk Management and Hedging with Jorge. So the first question is, who is the program primarily designed for, or who are the people who should get into this program, or how they will be benefited?
Mainly, you mentioned that at the very beginning. Let me stress and underline, this is a beginner's program. If you are not a beginner and you have all the concepts far away or not properly assembled, this is the time to do that. And when we say beginners, of course, with the who have the pleasure to understand financials, risk management. What is risk management? What is a risk? A risk is something you run every day. For example, if you expect to rain, you run the risk to get wet. And if you want to avoid it, you hedge yourself, you protect yourself carrying an umbrella. This umbrella, in this example, will be your hedge. But if you are in charge of a company, of course, or if you work for a company, or if you want to start understanding the rules of engagement into risk management, it's a great opportunity to be able to detect the areas where the risk is and how to protect it. And in other words, if you are a consumer of aluminum, and let's suppose that you build with the aluminum windows and you cannot increase the price of the windows you are building because the supplier of the aluminum increases the prices every day, because at the London Metal Exchange, where the aluminum quotes, the prices keep going higher and higher. You cannot either fight your supplier, and you cannot go to your customer and increase the prices every day. So what you do is to take some action, which is what we are going to learn to protect yourself against that situation. And this is just a little example of what we are going to do.
Okay, thank you so much. So with this, it's pretty much clear that about whom this whole course is primarily designed for. Moving on to my next question: why should an aspiring trader consider attending this course?
Oh, wow. I mean, because I want it, period. Because
Okay,
some
that's fantastic.
look, rang my bell and say you should do this course with. We have already attended Hedging with Jorge. because you love financials, because you love macroeconomics, and I'm starting to land, yeah, because you have certain appetite to start understanding how to control volatility. And as a matter of fact, I'm not expressing myself well. You don't control volatility. What you do is to control the results of volatility. Volatility is there. We can't do anything about that. It's like an earthquake. It's like the rain. You can't stop rain, but you can protect against it. You can stop an earthquake, but you can take some actions to protect yourself. So this is the same what we do. We have the volatility over there, and you take some actions to protect it. So one is from the academic point of view, because I like to understand it, period. As simple as that. And of course, L Circle has designed, and I thank you very much for that, with a cost which will be easy enough to afford in order just to attend it from the academic point of view, because I want to understand, period. On the other side, we can see and we can expect someone who is participant of a company as an employee or as an owner or as the nephew or the child of an owner of as a grandchild of an owner to start willing to start and willing to help its family business. And there is some point, at some point, you would say, well, but this is too wide. Yeah. And of course, in an 8 hours program, you're going to have completely a package of knowledge, and you're going to discover whether this is a venture you would like to go in deep, or you would like to say, okay, goodbye. I'm mad of this guy. It wasn't enough. But I'm sure that you're going to enjoy it.
Okay, so as we know, the webinar is of 12, like we will be having 2 sessions per week. So
Mhm.
by the time we end the webinar, that is on 12th of June, what can the participants expect to gain at the end of the program? Like what they will turn into after they end the program?
Well, you're going to realize the way I work. And I expect my students to understand 100%, not 90%, 100%. So I am the responsible for my students to understand what I teach, provided that on the other end, there is a clear commitment of the student to, to, to be responsible on the learning side of the process, okay? But when I say 100%, to understand of what? To understand risk, what is price risk, what is commodity price risk, what is a commodity price risk related to a futures market, what is commodity price risk related to the futures market that can be hedged. And if I want to amplify that, the last step will be how to hedge using futures and using options. And this is the whole package that you may understand that in 8 hours, we're going to go cover the generics of each item, but be sure that you're going to understand 100% of my said words.
Okay, so the next question is like in all these 8 sessions, what will be the format of the program? Like, will there be any studying, reading, exam, or certification sort of a thing?
Yeah,
Will
yeah.
there be there? Like,
You mentioned that some part of the beginning, we're going to meet 8 hours, twice a week. There's no exam. There is no time to tell you, go study this, and that. I'm not doing that. I leave that into the responsibility of each one. But I would strongly recommend, since the classes are going to be recorded, and of course, I understand the class is going to stay for a period of time after the delivery of the seminar, that you really, in order to make the most of it, you should listen what has been explained, said, and taught the previous session. If you come to the next session, understanding what has been taught, or not understanding anything, but being crystal clear enough as to share my doubts. This space is created to say, I don't understand, I don't know, please repeat. Yeah, I imagine I have taught people all over the world, and there are some cultures that they are a little bit ashamed to say, I didn't understand. This does not count with us. I mean, of course, if you understood, that's perfect. But if you don't understand and you don't bring, I can't guess that. I can see perhaps in some people's eyes or attitude, but believe me, everyone is facing. We see each other. It's going to be completely interactive. So the commitment will be just to and to attend, yeah. Because if you want to be certified at the end, there is a minimum percentage of attendance. I mean, you can come and go, come not come, come not come. This is up to you. But if you want a certification, out of 8 classes we have, you can only miss 2 of them, okay? Of course, you can continue the whole program, but for the certification, you have to be present at least 6 classes.
Okay. Okay, so like moving on to the next question, the course name itself is Aluminium and Other Base Metals. The next question is, does the program focus exclusively on aluminium?
I mean, our circle is aluminum, right?
Yes.
So this is
Yes.
our heart. But only we will not dismiss other metals like copper, nickel, zinc. The concept applies to every single metal, including gold, including silver, okay? So we are going to cover all of them, and also currencies, because remember, your currency is the rupee, and all of a sudden, if you have a devaluation of the rupee or you have a revaluation of the rupee, your business can be in a certain dangerous zone. So we would need to understand, for example, very quickly, if you are planning holidays to go to Europe next winter, which is in January, okay, and your income is in rupees, and you don't hedge, you don't do anything, you're running the risk that at the moment of buying your euros, you won't have enough rupees to buy the euros you need, and the trip, bye-bye, cannot do it. So a simple way to understand hedging is also to understand how do I cover myself, because this is a real risk. Anyone who has traveled overseas, needing to spend in a currency which is different to the rupee, has some.
Okay, so like as you talked about currency, rupee, euro, so with a follow-up question, will you cover physical markets, future markets, or both in this course?
I mean, futures market. I mean, the main market is the London Metal Exchange. Do you refer to which markets are we covering?
Yes, to which markets you will be covering, like physical markets, future markets, or both?
Got you. I mean, the risk results in the physical market. So this is when you need the futures market to cover. But I won't explain and go into the technicalities of how to buy better or sell better, or how do you get a better suppliers or better customers. This is not within the scope. We are just focusing on the physical and the price risk in the physical, which is covered with the futures market.
Okay, so moving on to our next question after we finish markets. So, like as you mentioned, what is volatility and what will we learn about it, volatility in the course?
Wow. If I tell you, listen to this example. I'm going to use the aluminum. Let's suppose that the aluminum price, not for cash, the aluminum price for in the futures market for August is 2,400. Okay? Listen to the prices: 2,400, 2,420, 200, 430, 200, 450, 200, 2,490, 2,500. You see prices increases, but you don't see volatility. Volatility, in simple words, it's the ups and downs. If there are ups and downs within a media of price, medium prices, okay? So either if it is a trend, the example I gave is a trend, or it is volatility, the volatility is caused by the actions of the market participants buying and selling. When there is a lot of volume, when there's no volume, it's boring. The price stays the same. When there is a lot of action, the prices moves. So since the participants, just to give you an idea, the volumes in the futures market are around 60 times the production volume of any product. In other words, if the world production of aluminum is 70 million tons, the total volume operated at the London Metal Exchange is 4.2 billion tons, 60 times. What does it mean? Because there is a lot of trading around that. The participants are mainly the consumers, the producers, the traders, but they don't take the main portion of the trading. The main portion of the trading is taken by the investment funds, the financial people who are betting against or in favor of a commodity. And they add a lot of liquidity and movement and volatility to the market. So if you want to assimilate to a heart exam, yeah, when you run, the heart beats higher and goes like this. When it's calm, it goes like this. And remember, markets are the mirror of we human beings acting, buying, and selling. And this is my explanation so far. Otherwise, we need to stay 2-3 more hours.
Okay, so moving on to the next question, like everybody looks for opportunities or whatever we learn, we try to implement in our daily life. So, say I have joined your course, I'm going through your course. What are the practical skills and opportunities that I will gain at the end?
Well, you will understand risk management. You're going to understand the tools in the futures market to handle risk management, how to operate a future, a long or a short future, how to operate, understanding what it's a call, what it's a put. We are not going to go to the extent of combining strategies because for that we need more hours, but the basics are going to stay with you.
Okay. So the last question that I have from my side is, does the program only cover LME?
No, that's an excellent question. I mean, it covers mainly the London Metal Exchange because that's the largest market, but we are going to speak of the other markets like the SHAFE or the COMEX in terms of copper, mentioning it, yeah, and any other markets where there is a future market and you may trade futures. because mainly it's the same. And how do you choose the market? Why do I choose Shanghai instead of choosing London Metal Exchange? Because the pricing of what I sell or the pricing of what I buy is Shanghai related. I choose Shanghai. If it is LME related, I choose LME. But the tools are the same. The only difference is when do the futures expire, when do the options expire, the size of a contract, the price structure, but the basics are the same.
Okay, Jorge, I would like to bring up one thing. Like when we started, we had less number of participants, and the way we proceeded, like currently we are having 16 participants, including me and you. So, would you just like to sum up in a short whatever you said or whatever, like whatever answer you gave to the questions for the participants who have joined later? It will be easier for them to understand.
Okay, so we are going to meet during 1 month, twice a week, 1 hour. And I am going to conduct a program of teaching where you're going to understand 100% of what risk management, price risk management means. Again, price risk management. So in other words, when you buy a commodity and you sit on it, what is the risk? The price goes down. If you produce cables, copper cables, yeah, and you have the obligation to deliver the copper cables to your customer, and the prices go up, you are in a problem unless you start increasing the prices to your customer every day, every month. If you want to avoid all those risks and you want to organize the numbers of your company to be stabilized, to be able to forecast that you selling this quantity of tons, you're going to be able to pay your overheads. You're going to be able to pay the bank payable, the debts, the installments, the interest, and the dividends for your shareholders. You need to organize your economics on the basis of numbers which are completely predictable. If you don't hedge, you don't protect yourself, your numbers will be at random. And particularly during the last years, volatility has been growing, and it's expected to be growing more because there's more information, more participants. When someone makes a finger movement in America, in 1 second you see it in Asia, which didn't happen 20 years ago. But now, yes, any movement implies a reaction, okay? And this reaction, if it is market related, it's going to move the prices. That also explains volatility. So in short, after 8 hours of encounter, you're going to understand the basics of price risk management, hedging, how to protect yourself using futures market, and using options as a tool to protect the risks.
Okay, and one thing I would like to add is that if anyone is looking for a certification after the course, then they have to minimum attend 6 webinars, right?
Correct. But people
Yes.
can come and go, not to come, stay. But for the certification, it's a 6 class. There are no exams because you're going to have the exam every day, believe me. We are going to know each other very, very well.
So, like our session was organized in this way. We have done the introduction of what the aluminium and other base metal course would be. So now the other 30 minutes we would solely dedicate to the questions if the participants are having from their end. The process would be you would raise hand. You will get the option at reactions in the Zoom app. From there, you would raise hand, and then Hore might ask you to unmute yourself, and you can put the you can say the questions in verbally. Also, you can put the questions in chat if you want to.
Mhm.
So we can chat the we can start the question answers. So we got a question from Samit. Would we do any live trading as a part of the course?
Again,
Would we do any live trading as the part of the course?
maybe yes, but listen, it's going to be paper trading, not real trading, yeah. But this is one of my techniques, and I was surprised on the question because it was like somebody knows me, my style. I bring the live prices, and I make my students at the moment of time to go short or long, just as a speculator, whether you want to buy or sell. But of course, we are going to have live prices.
Okay, so Jorge, one question came from Rosa. She asked, "Is this course focused for an Indian market?"
Not necessarily. I mean, it can be a good question. No, no, not at all. I mean, anyone's understanding English spoken by an Argentinian can do it in wherever in the world. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I would like if any other participants have any other sort of questions related to hedging, risk management, that they would like to clear their doubts before they get into this 8 sessions with Jorge. This will be a great opportunity for them. So we have another question: whether any level of expertise required to attend the course?
Zero. Just wish and desire to learn, appetite to learn.
Okay, Samit came up with another question, like any documents to be shared after the course for us to take away.
No, no, no.
So you have to be mindfully present while doing the sessions, right?
Yeah. And with the camera, I want to see your face. Okay. So for the ones who like to go first to makeup, take care. You do that before. One important point, Prerana, that I didn't mention is we start the session after 5 minutes. Bye-bye. Okay. We cannot interrupt the sessions. Okay. So if you come in, imagine all of a sudden people start entering in. So we give a window time. As a matter of fact, the session will last, say, 1 hour and 10 minutes and 8 minutes, because I'm starting like we did today. We are going to have some open window for people to let them in, and afterwards we start. And for respect to the people who have joined in the right time, we start. And the second, the use of cell phones. Imagine that during the hour, everyone stays like this. Tung, 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 tung. It's really not respectful. So we would really much request that during set hours, you don't use the cell phone. Just in case you have an emergency and you need to take the call, you turn off your camera, and you do it and come back within the next minute, okay? That's another rule of behavioral rules, right?
Okay, Jorge, actually, I would like to add some stuffs like what they will be getting at the end of the course, as mentioned on our platform when we promoted this. So they will get an entry to your exclusive WhatsApp community.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They will be getting a, yes, please
Yeah,
continue.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't mention that, which is absolutely included. I have a pre-existing community where I share very frequently, sometimes daily, sometimes 3, 4 times a week. And for the ones who are following me in LinkedIn, and this is open for everyone. I write every week a newsletter. I've been doing that. We are already for the last 70 weeks, I am issuing a newsletter. From time to time, I run a live session explaining, and I post, and perhaps many of you know me because I very far away, I started creating characters to express the sentiment of the market. Privrana, have you seen my characters of Ali and Copper? Have you ever seen them? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
as a cartoon. Yeah, and this is a nice way to understand the market sentiment, whether we are asleep or we are in the middle of a roller coaster that expresses, or whether there has been some objective economical facts that may allow to a market move.
Okay, so I would just jot down few things that they will be getting at the end of the course is that you will be getting a two-page summary sheet for quick reference, which will help you during trading. You will be get a certification, and that will be issued to you only if you attend 6 sessions at least. Entry to your exclusive WhatsApp community. A recording session will be given 90 days post program streaming only, and 20% discount on your upcoming book.
Good.
Would you like to add something about your upcoming book to the audience, please?
I mean, the name of the book is To Hedge or Not to Hedge? That is the question. Mastering Futures and Options to Become a Trader. And this is going to be a complete manual. It's under final edition. It's going to be edited in two languages, Spanish and English, and it's in the final process. So you have to be patient because I expect it to be available by the end of the year, but you won't lose your discount.
To all the participants, I would like to mention like what everything about the course, what you will be getting, who should participate, what is the duration, etc. Everything is mentioned in our registration link on the AlCircle platform. So you can just go there and check every details that you might be requiring, or you might have a doubt before attending the session. Any other questions from the participant?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
When do we meet next then? We meet for the start,
Yes, we are starting on 20th May. That would be our first session on this course.
which in other words, we are meeting in 2 weeks' time. So in the
Yes.
meantime, you may recommend it to any acquaintance, or if you attend this seminar and you didn't register, it's time to do it. If with this speech and you have attended it, you didn't trigger in yourself the need or the desire to commit, I am done. I cannot do anything more. But I'm convinced that you are going to enjoy it. And believe me, it's extremely economic, low price. A course like that, it is sometimes 20 times higher in terms of price. And we do that to promote the education and the activity for your community.
Okay, so there is an announcement for all the participants. Like details, each and every details of this course will be shared to you via email, apart from the registration link that we have on our platform. Okay, so can we finish this preview webinar now? Okay, Prince has raised his hand. I think he has a question. You can just unmute yourself and verbally say it, or you can put it on chat.
Okay, yeah, hi. So I am trading in options in India, and I would like to know, like, I want to know about commodity market. So I am familiar with call and put. So frequently I am taking the positions like uh, I take a position at a certain number, and then to lower my risk, I would also take a position in put so that if volatility comes, my risk will be lower. And I would like to do same in the commodity market. So how will this course help me to enter in the commodity market?
Virana, the level of sound was absolutely unclear to me. Can you please
I think he
rephrase the
asked about
question?
the commodity market. He will be joining the commodity market. Prince, is there anything else apart from that? Then you can put it on chat because your sound was quite low.
Okay, give me a second. I am putting in the chat.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so he has put the question. I am trading in the options market. Would like to explore the commodity market.
Well, if you are already trade options, that's an excellent opportunity to understand the correlation between and the connections of trading options in the commodity markets, and particularly in the metal markets, and particularly to the risk management. Because if you are trading options as a speculator, I presume the the dream of a speculator while using options is exactly the opposite of the hedger. The opposite. If you buy a call option, which is a right to buy, you want the market to go up and higher than the premium paid. If you are a hedger and you buy options to hedge, you want them never to be exercised, just in case. It works as the insurance of your car. You buy the insurance of your car just in case there is an accident, but you don't want to crash your car because you bought it, the protection. That is hedging, which is exactly the opposite of um, trading options while speculating.
Is there any other question from the participants, or else we can finish the preview webinar over here? Is there anything, Jorge, from your side that you would like to add at the end, or I think we can finish it?
No, we can finish it, and I'm happy because we have covered everything, and I hope to see you all within 2 weeks.
Okay, so thank you everyone. Thank you, Jorge. We will be meeting soon in 2 weeks, that is on 20th of May, with the first session of the course. Thanks, everyone. So